Hello, I'm Greg Chumley, President of Printelligence Consulting, and I'm joined by Hans Sepp, Product Line Manager for Automation Products at EFI. We're going to spend the next 20 minutes or so talking to you about new approaches to print production automation. Mention automation and many print shop owners and in-plant managers think of lights out production with complex and expensive systems. And sure, that can be true if you're a direct mailer, service bureau, or commercial printer specializing in select applications. But I find that most commercial printers and implants produce a wide variety of work and are not interested in competing in a high-volume, price-driven commodity business model. EFI recently introduced an Automation Building Blocks ebook that walks printers through how to identify and automate these processes and jobs, starting with simple actions leveraging capabilities you already have and advancing to more robust automation. Hans, you were instrumental in creating this ebook. Are printers truly interested in workflow automation? And if so, why?
Keypoint Intelligence does a yearly report on software investment outlook, and it showed this year that 87% of their respondents are working with all or mostly manual processes. 63% of their audience report that none of the volume produced is using an 100% automated workflow. 57% of the respondents say that their biggest production issues are inefficiencies due to dealing with a high number of smaller jobs. And about a quarter say that they need to increase throughput and shorten production lines. Another quarter of the respondents need to connect what we call islands of automation. They have several different solutions, and they want to be able to connect them so that they are integrated a lot more tightly than they currently are. It makes sense because automation reduces mistakes, it increases productivity, reduces turnaround, and basically lets your people focus on adding value instead of doing these low-level tasks.
I couldn't agree more, Hans. I recently had video calls with a couple of EFI Fiery customers who use job presets, hot folders, Fiery Impose, and Fiery Job Flow. Here are some of the automation benefits they shared.
We, as a small shop with 6 people, are doing about 60 jobs a day. Usually about half go through job flow. So, but there's different parts of job flow that most of them do go through. You know, I talk about the adding crops and bleeds. Most jobs do go through that first. One of the key benefits for me, which I didn't realize when I put it in, was I used to pay a graphic artist to add crops and bleeds to jobs. They put it into InDesign, they'd flip the images around to add crops and bleeds. So that really was what paid for this solution. Right now, it doesn't have to go to a graphic artist. My order processor sends it into a workflow. What it does, you take that job without crops and bleeds, bring it into the workflow. The workflow figures out what size it is, and then it brings it into the do flow. No human hands touch it, no mistakes happen, no conversations about it. It's just those employees, they work hard behind the scenes, and that's the beauty of the software. My graphic artist, she's the one actually using the flatbed now. So, you know, and she has a great time doing it because, you know, it kind of diversifies what she does. She's designing, you know, larger jobs now than she's ever done before. We have one customer that we used to have to place all these JPEGs because the printer can't ingest JPEG files. So right now what happens, we put it right through job flow. It outputs PDFs. We take those PDFs, combine them, and send them right to the printer. And it takes probably about 20 minutes of a half hour of time, of employee time out that takes under 3 minutes.
The big problem was no automation, no, no software for imposition and any of that stuff. I mean, when I started, we were, 300 orders past due, weeks upon weeks past due. And I think there was over 800 orders in our queue, And just as an example today, if we have 150 orders still in there today, I'd be surprised. And we're pretty much, like I said, on average, getting 100 jobs in per day. We're just going directly now from MDSF to all our fiery DFEs. And we kind of did it in, like you said, in waves. Started building presets on the color. And today I would say we probably have about 85% of our products being fully automated from digital storefront to the digital front end. Mainly presets, but Rob introduced me to job flow, and we use that on our business cards. What the end game really gave to us was because we were able to reduce our click charges pretty dramatically. It allowed us to get new equipment, equipment that we didn't have before, like the Duplo 646, that allowed us to slit and cut business cards automated. And that was huge. That saved over $100,000 a year bringing business cards in-house. And that became an additional charge for us because we never did it before. So we had to purchase the equipment and do the work and show a savings, which we did, and they allowed us to do it. And it helped also a lot in the wide format arena by saving money on cut sheet. It allowed me to buy. We ended up buying an EFI H1625 about 2 years ago, which dramatically freed us time. I want to say it freed up, I think it was almost 300 hours a year in the process difference between being able to image directly on foam board instead of having to print on paper, mount it to foam, trim them, and then ship them. We do roll-up banners now that they were, the marketing department was sending out at over $200 a piece. It costs us under $100, including the hardware to produce. The automation really was the key to being able to save the money to afford us to do so many other things.
These two people are still on their automation journeys, yet they've already learned that automation isn't an all-or-nothing proposition. It doesn't require significant advanced planning, architecting, or design. It isn't outrageously expensive, and it can begin delivering results as soon as you begin implementing it. This aligns with the roadmap in EFI's ebook, which outlines 6 automation phases. Hans, would you walk us through this approach, starting with phase 1?
The first step is actually the easiest to implement, and it's most likely already available with your Fiery. Every Fiery server uses presets, and Fiery hot folders is a standard option on all external Fieries and many of our embedded Fiery servers. Hot folders and presets help users to reduce a number of repetitive tasks. If you print jobs using an application and you print them using your print driver and you continue to manually configure print settings for those jobs, you can actually replace that, or you can reduce the number of steps involved by creating presets. You configure a job with your job properties and then save them with a custom name. These presets are then saved back on the Fiery and made available to everybody who submits or prints jobs to the Fiery. This is especially helpful if you have new operators who are not familiar with the device or not familiar with how to configure a recurring job. Simply selecting a preset in either your print driver or in job properties will help them to automatically set the correct settings. We also have hot folders. Once you configured a hot folder, meaning you have an application called Fiery Hot Folder, you tell the application where you want to copy and drop documents, and then Hot Folder will take care of sending these jobs automatically to a Fiery server, with, again, predefined print settings. It's very common in printing operations to process very similar jobs. So if you process brochures or business cards, you can all drop them in a pre-configured shared folder on your desktop or on a central file server to quickly submit the job with correct settings. The use of Fiery hot folders is super simple. You don't need to be a computer expert or have an IT degree to use those. And it's important to become familiar with the use of these presets and hot folders so that you can continue to proceed with the next steps in the automation workflow.
So what I'm hearing is that printers can offload operator work handling simple jobs while reducing errors using automation capabilities already embedded in their Fiery servers. It's a pretty painless way to start. What's the next step?
In the next step, we focus on adding imposition templates to those hot folders and job presets. This takes this workflow automation up one level by, in addition to just the basic job settings, also be able to automate job layout and make ready. I've seen pre-press operators manually imposing jobs, and every time when I see that, I try to explain to them that they can actually capture the imposition settings also in a preset. Once those imposition templates have been created and linked to a hot folder and or job presets, that prevents additional errors and takes another set of these repetitive tasks off the shoulder of the pre-press staff, who can then better focus on the more complicated jobs that they also need to take care of. Fiery hot folders can also contain imposition settings. So if you look at just with the help of imposition templates, presets, and hot folders, we can streamline most job submissions and reduce the clicks and errors.
Okay, I can see how automating some highly repetitive setup and impositioning tasks is important, but I'm not sure I'd really consider this workflow automation. What about automating multi-step production processes?
That's an excellent question, Greg. Yes, to really venture into a real workflow automation where you are able to automate multiple steps in a workflow, we have a free pre-press workflow automation solution called Fiery Jobflow Base. In fact, Fiery Jobflow Base is pre-installed on most of our external servers, and it's free. It uses a web browser as its main interface, and it can either run on the Fiery server or on a PC in your print shop. You can use Fiery Jobflow Base to build basic workflows and automate things like image enhancement, imposition, but also include pre-flighting. You can even have a step where you archive jobs to your central file server, for instance, so to save them for reprinting that job later. You can do email notifications. So when a job passes a certain step or when pre-flight fails, for instance, you get notified via email. Fiery Jobflow Base uses all the different components that we explained in level 1 and 2, like job presets and imposition templates. I'd just like to explain just one of the more advanced workflows that you can do with this free Fiery Jobflow Base. And that is to take the imposition automation to the next level. With Fiery Jobflow Base, you can then also batch and impose jobs based on jobs or page count using a module that we call collect. This batching, what the collect module does, it can also be made more intelligent. So for instance, if you want to save your business cards, you submit business cards throughout the day, and then you can create a workflow that, for instance, at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, the workflow will automatically release all those jobs to the Fiery to make that your business card production is a lot more efficient, and that you can still achieve the same day turnaround for your customers. Fiery job flow base can also automatically convert jobs into a PDF. So it can convert images, text files, Office documents into a PDF, all without having to touch those jobs. You submit those jobs to a Word document, to a job flow base folder, and job flow base will automatically convert that into a print ready PDF, all without prepress operators having to touch that file. Since Fiery job flow base is a centrally installed application, again, it can either run on your external Fiery or on a PC or virtual machine in your print shop. Everybody can access those workflows in order to create more intelligent workflows, but again, at no cost to the print shop owner.
Well, I like that JobFlow Base is free, and it truly is workflow automation. However, there's still a lot of decision-making involved in the process. Someone has to open and inspect the files and decide which workflow or hot folder should be used. That's another low-level task that takes time from staff members whose skills could be better used adding billable value. How do printers free up these people's time?
You can increase the level of automation by upgrading from the free version of Fiery job flow, called Fiery job flow base, to the paid version, which is called Fiery job flow. This will allow you to automatically inspect, troubleshoot, and correct job by the inclusion of Focus Bit Stop. As we all know, the Focus Bit Stop is the gold standard in the industry for advanced pre-flighting, and it's integrated with the paid version of Fiery job flow. You can then submit multiple jobs and use intelligent routing to submit them to other workflows, so that all business cards go to your business card workflow and all brochures go to your brochure workflow. We also have simple approval. So if you want to pause a job and get somebody's approval, you can do that with the paid version of Fiery job flow. If you really want to take it up to the next level, you can incorporate advanced scripting to also interact with other third-party applications. JobFlow's Connect module allows you to develop custom module that address just about any workflow need. We're also already done the work of integrating Fiery JobFlow with EFI Market Direct Storefront to allow those online orders to also automatically flow seamlessly through the production with job routing in JobFlow. JobFlow Base and JobFlow are relatively easy to use, but in some cases, we can offer Fiery professional services support if needed. Most workflows can be set up in 1 to 3 days, getting you up and running quickly. And we also make workflows, pre-made workflows available inside Fiery JobFlow to get you up and running quickly.
Okay, that's pretty cool. You have an incrementally implementable solution for automating pre-press workflows into presses with all the right settings. And I like that printers can organically grow their automation based upon the types of jobs they actually do, without wasting time automating infrequent workflows. But production activities don't end at the printer. Nearly everything printers produce needs to be finished, and correctly setting up those finishers can be challenging. I mean, many new finishers utilize barcode setups, which are powerful, but they mean that your pre-press or graphic art staff need to understand finishing and how to create and place those barcodes. Can printers extend EFI automation past the Fiery server all the way into finishing?
Yes, that we definitely are able to do. For instance, if you have offline finishes from Duplo, Graphic Wizards, Architect, Horizon, MBM, Morgana, Plugmatic, or Ushida, and I think that covers a broad range of available offline finishers, we actually have pre-made how-to guides on how to integrate those offline finishers with a hot folder workflow, a job flow workflow, and the imposition template workflow. We've seen a reduction of up to 70%, in job setup time. How this works is that in Fiery Impose, depending on the offline finisher, a barcode is added to the job, in addition to applying the imposition template. This barcode then includes all the information needed for the finisher to set up the configuration. The barcode is scanned on the finisher, and then the finisher knows what to do with no manual setup needed by the operator. If we again include Fiery job flow, we have what we call almost 100% automated workflow for Duplo finishes. The Duplo offline spot UV coder, where we automatically add registration marks, separate out the CMYK layer and the spot UV layer, sending each as separate jobs to the respective devices. And like mentioned before, JobFlow integrates with the imposition and barcode applications from the imposition template, so that the barcode die-cut finisher also is able to read the registration mark specific for that offline device.
That's powerful. Printers and implants who get to this point will have extremely efficient operations. However, people with this level of vision will probably also have e-commerce platforms and print MIS systems. Can systems like these be integrated into Fiery production automation?
Absolutely. Actually, for this type of level, we have three approaches to support these more advanced integrations. So first and foremost, if the customer has advanced workflow solutions like Kodak Prinergy, Agfa Apogee, Heidelberg Prinect, and Screen Acquios, we already work with those customers to make the Fiery the best well-behaved citizen in those types of workflows. For those advanced workflows, the Fiery is an out-of-the-box supported DFE. Obviously, EFI also has its own productivity software, and that's where we've already done the work for you. Obviously, for e-commerce like Market Direct Storefront and EFI MAS solutions like Printsmith Vision, Pace, and Monarch, again, the Fiery will connect to those and integrate with those software solutions out of the box. Lastly, and that's what I also see, is that there's still a lot of shops that have built their own web fronts and MAS systems, or they want the Fiery to be in an automated workflow that is very, very specific to that customer. For those systems, like other MAS systems that I did not mention, and third-party solutions, you may want to look at the integrations based on Fiery JDF and Fiery API. Customers take advantage of Fiery certified JDF technology to automate processes all the way from job submission to output to the integrated print flow to business management system to achieve the 100% no-touch workflow. Or you can use Fiery API to quickly develop unique applications and tools for very specific business needs. You can use Fiery API to extract job data for cost analysis, have your own scheduling solution, or submit jobs with basic settings from existing applications. We've seen customers integrate Fiery API in a matter of hours, not days, not weeks or months.
Thank you, Hans. That's about all the time we have for this session. Let me close by underscoring a few points. Automating your shop does not require an extensive automation strategy or implementation plan. You can start automating today with no additional costs and extend your abilities with manageable incremental investments. You only need to automate the types of work and processes that make sense for your operation, and you don't have to automate everything before seeing results. You'll realize benefits every step along the way. At this point, I want to thank everyone for attending, to open the session up for questions, and to invite you to download the ebook at fiery.efi.com/automation-ebook, where you will find all the knowledge and resources necessary to embark on the road of workflow automation.